good morning, welcome back. I haven't been feeling well. I've been up and about half the time and actually doing things. But I was in no condition to be doing a video. But I'm feeling better now, and I'm here to make a little update video on what's been going on here. First, I wanted to talk about the onion seeds, because if you remember, I put out 4 different varieties of onions hoping to get them to flower and go to seed. Only 2 of them went to flower. That's the Australian Brown and the Red Spring. So now I'm going to bring you over a little closer so I can show you what actually happened. This is the germination test that I just done a couple of weeks ago. This is the Red Spring. This is one of the few heirloom seeds that Vessey's has. And if my memory serves me correctly, from 2 years ago, they grew nicely and they stored nicely. And of what germinated, one, you see this is the little sprout here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and this one, it sprouted. Didn't go very far, but I'm going to count that as 10 sprouted. It looks like this one tried, so a possible 11. I put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. 25 seeds. So I've got less than 50% germination. Now I've got a couple thousand seeds, so I can get the Red Spring onion to grow this year. That is, of course, very poor germination though. The other one was Australian Brown, which was also a good storage onion. But when I put in, looks like I put 20 in here, I only got 1 to germinate. So it's rather pointless for me to try to grow those seeds. I didn't order the onion seeds when I done my last seed video, because I was waiting for it to do this. I wanted to leave them for a while and then do the germination test in early January. That being said, that leaves me with only 1 onion variety to grow this year. So I went online, I searched around. I thought about ordering from Salt Spring Seed, because they add the Egyptian walking onion. They also add wild leeks. But for 3 packets of seed, I was going to have to pay $38 or something like that. It costs just as much to send them as the seeds themselves cost, and I'm like, forget that. So what I have is from the Incredible Seed Company, which is a company in Nova Scotia somewhere, I think down around Halifax. And West Coast Seeds, which once again, Salt Spring Seeds is on Vancouver Island. West Coast Seeds is Vancouver, I think. It's in the Fraser Valley somewhere. But I only had to pay $7 shipping total from West Coast Seeds. I'm trying this one, Alyssa Craig. This is the cross between two exhibition onions. It was developed in 1950s. It's a sweet, mild white onion of the long day variety. And if you know anything about onions, there's long day, short day, and day neutral. The long day onions are for the northern climates because during the summer we get 14, some places 16 hours. Once you get above somewhere around the 45th or 48th parallel, somewhere around there, your better producing onions will be long day onions. In 1995, one grower managed the world record of the largest onion ever grown at 16 pounds. So this is one of your exhibition onions. It matures in 110 days. Now onions, as you know, you plant them really early, as soon as the ground can be worked. And they grow in really low temperatures. So the 110 days, I've got 150, 160 for onions. And they're open pollinated seeds. So there'll be some variability because they're open pollinated, not heirloom. But you can save seeds from them and have a decent expectation of getting a similar onion in the next generation. Even though it does say they're hybrid seeds. They are genetically stable. The next one was Rosa di Milano. It's an Italian one, of course, with a name like that. It's an Italian heirloom. These storage onions have bright purple-red skins and a barrel shape with flat bottoms. Sweet and pungent, they look sensational when braided for winter use and are highly prized by market growers. We find them resistant to pest and disease with strong tops and reliable and uniform bulb development. The flavor is refined but pronounced. Once you try Rosa di Milano onions, you'll want them in your garden every year. Properly cured onions will store for several months. They are open pollinated as well, but it doesn't say they're hybrid in the quick facts, so they will definitely be true to seed once you save them generation to generation. These were one I was thinking about before actually, but I didn't try them. But this time, due to the fact that I had New York Early and Tropicana Lunga, which I found out they don't store at all. Even last year when I got Tropicana Lunga to finish off in the garden, they didn't store very well. So I want storage onions. I can't pronounce that word. I'll have to just put it up on the screen. Anyway, it is from a town of Boreto in northern Italy. This is a small yellow storage onion with a unique flat top and squat flattish shape. And for someone who's a single person or maybe a couple, the smaller onion is better because you can use then the entire onion when you go to use an onion. Whereas that larger one, I'm just growing it for show and to show that what you are able to grow here in Newfoundland. It's not necessarily for me. This onion will store up to 5 months, which is good, and they braid well for an attractive market display if you're doing a market garden. The flavor is strong and a little bit hot. The above ground tops are robust and the skins are thick, allowing for good curing and drying for winter storage. Take time to cure these onions and they should last in storage for months after harvest, remaining firm and flavorful. Matures in 110 days, and that's normal for onions anyway. I think I have one here that's shorter. The Alyssa Craig. I tried those before, and I don't remember what the result was. Do I have it recorded? I can look back through my videos and see, but down on paper I didn't record it. I'm getting better at recording this stuff as I go. So I'm going to try them again this year. They are once again one of the larger onions. They are a sweet white onion though. So if you like to take a nice huge slice of onion and put on a burger, this is the type of onion you go for. Firm with a mild sweet flesh. It has fairly good short-term storage potential. Certainly better than Walla Walla, which I tried Walla Walla, but I know they were a dud when I tried those. I'm not going to try those here again, but Alyssa Craig I think I can grow here, and we'll see again this year. The only thing, like I said, it's a short term. This though will be a good where if you want to make onion powder, they will probably be good as well. So I'll store them and keep checking them. If any starts to sprout or go soft, then I'll dehydrate them and make onion powder. The bigger onions are really better for that because you can cut them in nice big thin slices and dehydrate them really nice. They are fine textured and excellent for salads and sandwiches. It is tolerant of cold weather, so it can be ready for harvest before some other Spanish storage onions. Alyssa Craig was not a person, but rather a place. It's a stony, okay, yeah. There's a highland apparently in Scotland that looks like, people say it looks like the top of an onion. And that's where it gets its name. Oh, here it actually tells you it would certainly grow there as it is adapted for growing between the 38th and 60th parallels. So excellent for it's a long day onion. Above 38 parallel, you can grow a long day onion. But now up to 45, 48, I think that's between 30 and 45 or something like that. You can grow those day neutral. And that makes it even better onion for northern growers. So they are open pollinated, matures in 95 days, and they are an heirloom. Does it say what how old they are? No, it doesn't say how old they are, but the open pollinated heirloom. That's what I got from West Coast Seeds. The two large onions, like I say, if they start to go soft, I'll make onion powder out of them. The two smaller ones, they are supposed to store very well to be used at least for 5 or 6 months. The other company I ordered from was the Incredible Seed Company. I really like this company, but they have a very small inventory. The reason being, they are ones that go strictly for either heirloom heritage or long time open pollinated. When you get seeds from them, chances are you save the seeds, they will go through the seed. And you know what I did? I ordered the same onion twice. I ordered from West Coast Seeds and from Incredible Seeds. Okay, so I only have 7 onion varieties. I really gotta keep track of this. And I did the same thing with the Rosa di Milano. Okay, I have 1 to show you from Incredible Seeds. Oh boy. That's the red Wethersfield storage onions. Okay. Here's 110 days heirloom from 1834. An historical home gardener's favorite, red Wethersfield onions was also once used as currency in the town of Wethersfield, Connecticut. The medium, large-sized red onions grow well and store well in towards the end of winter. Whatever that's supposed to mean, the end of winter. I would assume that that would be like the other one where it's a storage onion, but they don't keep for like 6 months like some of the others I have. So that cut that a little shorter, because the other thing I have to show you is that I did eventually get calendula. I'm expecting calendula to be self-seeding, similar to chamomile. They are a daisy-like flower after all. Calendula has a simple yellow and orange daisy-like flowers. It is very talented as a dye flower, a yellow dye, and as well as an edible, adding color and beauty to food and fiber. Medicinally, this is the most potent of the calendulas for relieving inflamed, irritated tissues. So inflammation. They grow 2 feet high. See, yeah, it says right there, self-seeding. So uses: edible, dye, medicinal. Use flowers fresh or dried in tea or jellies, or as sprinkles on desserts and salads. Calendula is very talented as a dry flower and as well as a edible. Medicinally, calendula is helpful for relieving inflamed, irritated tissue. Only comes 50 seeds in a packet, but it is self-seeding, 1. And 2, if I collect the seeds, I only have to collect the seeds from a couple flowers, and then I'd have as many seeds as I want, right? So that's my new order. I had thought of buying a fresh batch of several seed potatoes, but I think I'm coming to the end of my budget. If I get fresh seed potatoes, it'll be just in the traditional ones from the local store here. Now, what else is happening? I'm going to take you off the tripod. Now, you see, I'm not understanding this thing at all. You see right there? Now it's growing up. The stalk grew up, and that stalk died again. But now it's coming here again. I don't have it in the right place. I think I'm going to bring that up and put it in the bay window. It's the only place I know to try and get it to grow better now. I think what's happening here is that I don't get it watered enough, and this runs down and it's not getting an even moisture. I'm not sure, but I think I want to put it in a different pot. You see, this is all dried out now. Now I can harvest all these leaves, they're dried, and I only got the one shoot off there that's seemingly alive now. So I want to grow one down here because, like, as you know, I got one in the sunroom already, and that's good for upstairs. And I just want to see if it can grow under grow lights. It's a little cooler over around here, and the pepper, well, it did grow some and even put on some flowers, but it's not that steady. Now I'm going to move this in just a bit. I'll show you in just a second, but growing here, these are the little bulblets that I grew. They're still growing, and the seeds that had already sprouted. We'll see. I moved the 2 cherries up from the bottom shelf, and this one just up and died. And this one, he stayed alive. I don't know what's up with that. I'm going to be harvesting a couple cherry tomatoes. Give you a close view. So this is January the 11th, and if you have a warm sunny windowsill or a grow lights, I mean these are just your ordinary household lights, but they're daylight weighted, so that's 5,000 Kelvin LEDs, and the plant grows quite well. I have, for brightness, there's one there, one here, so it's taking advantage of about 5 of these lights. They are equivalent, if my memory serves me correctly, to a 100-watt light bulb, and he's doing just perfectly fine. Down below, I have some basil trying to grow. I'm going to move these right now. You see these mats, so over the time that you're using them, because they stay constantly wet, you'll get, it's a moss that grows on them, because there's moss spores in a lot of your soil, unless of course you're doing the bagged potting soil, then you wouldn't have this moss. But I don't use that. I use compost and sifted topsoil, that kind of stuff. So I get this moss, but even at that, you'll invariably get dirt on them as you're moving things around. So at the beginning of every year, I wash these out. I have to take the tabs up out of the water to let this dry out, and I just shake the dirt off them when they're dry. That's one of the main reasons why you gotta let them dry, and run them through the washer, and then they look like this. And here's the one down on the other shelf. I have my large heating mat put under this wicking mat, and my small one is right here, my small heating mat. So, put you back on the tripod just barely high enough for this upper mat. You need to wet these, because they're not going to soak up from the tray right away. You need to have them soaked first, and then from then on it'll continue to soak up. The nice thing about over here, when I put the plastic down, I had it turned up at the edges in there, so the water won't soak in. It won't go inside and run down by the wall. It's stopped by the plastic. So I can put a fair amount on and not worry about it running away on me. Mine is, what is it out now? Well, it's gone up to -5 out. It was -19 out Celsius last night. So this water is cold. And then I fill up the tray. Need to repeat that for the bottom one, and then I'll bring you back. There are some dry spots, but you don't need to have it completely wet. It's just the main part of it, and the water will eventually seep into this dry area. So here we go, looking nice and clean for now. I am doing a total documentation this time on how these grow. I have the heating mat put on underneath, and this for now, those in the back, they are the Shiitake ghost pepper from John at Will It Grow. So early on you'll get to see those growing as well. Sometime in the future there will be a video out about how I took the total growing period of these up to harvest time, and you'll get to see how these grow. Got the onions put there, the one cherry tree that I have now put there. I got this put here. I thought about putting it down lower, but because I wanted to move the lights down closer to those seedlings, I had to put it up here, and I'll deal with that dry portion a little later. The pepper plant, and now the small heating mat is under here. I may or may not turn it on to see what the difference would be with both this plant and the pepper plant if they were add some bottom heat. But for now, you see they're sitting right there, and the stove is right there. They've got a lot of air temperature anyway, so it's they'll be nice and warm. The turning heat mat on would be just a bit of extra warmth for the roots. I've got the end turned up for this to dry out, but I left the tomato here because I didn't have another better spot to put it, and I'll just have to make sure I hand water it and don't let it dry out. I didn't show you this one the last time I done an indoor video. See, I have a Christmas cactus, and at the nursery down in Louisport I bought two what do you call them, desert plants. This one is a Thornia, but for some reason I don't have the tag on this one. I just picked them up, and I'm going to have to, next time I'm in Louisport, stop in and ask her what the name of this one is. This pepper plant, it's growing a pepper on it again. It got down to minus 0.6 out here last night, so just below freezing. These peppers, they had gone dormant anyway, and they were dropping their leaves, so that wasn't from last night. As you can see, the kale growing out here, they didn't mind that at all, and they'll continue to grow. I took off all this, those big golden nugget tomatoes that were there. I said enough of them. But now, like I said, it dipped down below 0. So we'll see now if they can withstand any frost. They're dormant, they'll lose their leaves, I know that, and they'll look like just sticks here. But we wait until it warms up in the spring and see if all of these branches out here will leave out again, or will I have to cut it back, or what happens. Now this is something to watch for though. This is the brandywine, and we'll see whether it survives or not, because the tomatoes, well, they're basically fully vegetative, and so the entire thing can freeze. But with the peppers, that's just the leaves will fall off and the branches will stay there. We'll see how much, we'll see if they can withstand the cold that they will experience here over the winter. The rosemary here though is growing beautifully. It's growing over toward the light. If I had it in a pot, I can turn it. So it is yet to be seen whether I'm going to leave that bed there or no. Didn't expect it. Minus 0.6 to hurt this thing. This is the yellow pear. It's putting on fruit and flowers now and then. I guess it really doesn't matter whether this dies or not, because I don't have a tag in there, so I don't know what it is. It looks like furthest north, but I don't know. Golden nugget in a 5-gallon bucket. See, you have to put them in a 5-gallon bucket. That's a given. They won't survive any scents in the smaller bucket, even though, yeah, you keep whacking the water to them. Those in the smaller pot was living, but not very good. This here thing, it's still looking quite healthy. Of course, it's putting on a ton of flowers. I haven't been out trying to fertilize them much, but you see, there's a tomato growing here. And last week I picked a couple tomatoes off of this. I don't know if there's any more on there now, but the plant is looking well, and it's got a ton of flowers on it. It won't be putting flowers on now because it's quite cold here, but if we get a few days of warmth, I can maybe get some flowers pollinated, and then even just above zero, well, above 5 degrees, let's say, the tomatoes will grow, but the flowers won't get pollinated until it's above 10 degrees. Those onions that I brought in, they're growing. No sign of a flower stalk yet. But that's what it's like out here. Everything is doing fine. And I'm going to call that an end of this video. I hope you enjoyed the little look around at what the plants are doing inside right now. And yeah, hit the like button if you want to follow along on what I'm doing here on this channel. Check out a couple other videos to see the things outside and decide whether you want to subscribe or not. I'll see you in the next video.